Listen to and viewed from over 95 countries from around the world. This is the GridCast, and I am your host, Danny Cox. And with me, he's my co-host. He's a box owner and grid enthusiast. And when he heard that there was a Grid Fest, he said, wait. I thought it was a beer fest. His name is Conan Bruce.
It's kind of one and the same. There's a lot of brewskis out there.
Totally one and the same. There's lots of brews there, and there's lots of brews at the players' houses who are competing at the GRID Invitational, which we are at the championships of the GRID Invitational taking place right now back here. We have the Bridgewater Gladiators versus the Chicago Rally. We will be interviewing the captains and some of the players of the winner of this match in Quadrant 2. And in Quadrant 3, we'll be talking to coach of the Boston Iron, Josh Plosker, about this whole grid playoffs and championships. And let's just go ahead and start the show.
Do it.
We love to lift, laugh, and improve. This is Björk Odinsdatter.
Hey guys, welcome to Quadrant 1. Danny and I have been here. Danny Tyler and I have been here pretty much all week for this grid finale, finals, championship week. They've had matches going on all week, which is kind of cool. Amateur league matches from all the folks from the GRID Invitational. We saw many of the teams compete. We also got to hang out with a couple.
You know, I think this has been my favorite part about the whole weekend is bringing everyone together from all over the world to compete in grid.
Right.
And then these guys are staying at the same houses. Maybe they're at a hotel all together. But we got to hang out with Texas Bloodhounds at their house. What up, guys? And then we also got to hang out with the Celtic Fire last night. We won't talk about that.
Let's keep that one under wraps.
Let's just keep that on the.
I wasn't even there. So let's be honest. I don't think there would have been a turnout for the whole week the way we've had, fan-wise, if we didn't have the GRID Invitational.
Oh, that's very true. Absolutely. 8 teams that I think there's 14 to 16 players per team, something like that. And then you have friends and families of theirs as well that come.
Right.
It was really awesome.
Yeah, it was a great way to do the week and still be able to give the folks from the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference time enough to recuperate before the next match instead of just going right into it. Right?
Yeah, and you got to have the celebration of grid over at Grid Fest. You had we played what's it called? Beer pong. Grid pong.
It's on my Instagram if you
Coach
follow
Conley.
on Instagram. Yeah, Coach Conley.
It is dope. I love grid pong. That was really.
We're gonna be playing in our gym when we get back.
Oh, hell yes.
We're gonna have to get our own little GridCast set up though.
And then for the championships, you actually have something that's called the Flipper, and you get to try that out at Grid Fest. That was pretty cool. You got to pick up some of Laco weights and try on some high league gear.
Yeah, and they had races. They actually had the Grid Anywhere mat that they talk about online a bunch. They actually had it out there, and it was a pretty cool setup because you just had the Grid Anywhere mat. And then you throw down some like stall mats, like most CrossFit gyms have, or anybody can pick up a few at Home Depot or whatever, Tractor Supply. But anyway, you just lay some mats next to it, and you're literally playing Grid Anywhere. They had a couple barbell movements and some body weight in there, and it was like a little mini race.
Yeah, and cool. If you guys know the announcer, Pat McCarty,
yes,
he and a girl named April, she's also an NPGL employee. They were doing actually
behind the scenes a lot. That's why we say we did.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't know you. She works behind the scenes, but Pat's always out front and he's on the camera and everything, so a lot of people know him. But anyway, they were racing. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
so what they did is they had teams, guy and a girl, race, and whoever had the lowest time won a big prize or bragging rights.
I think it's $1,000 or something
was
like that.
Was it $1,000?
Yeah,
we should have raced. Oh, had to be one guy, one girl.
Yeah. I mean,
Tyler.
I do look good in the skirt, but I don't think I can be passed off as a girl. I don't think that'll work.
So we're wrapping this week up today. We're as excited as everybody else is. By the time this comes out, we'll all know who the winner is. But for this race, which is on live, hopefully you caught it on Grid TV, this race with the Grid Invitational, we're going to link up with the Bridgewater Gladiators after this, and then also with Josh Plosker. And I think we need to get right to that. Who wants to hear us talk about this?
All right, let's just go to it. We are here at the 2015 GRID Invitational Championships, and the Bridgewater Gladiators just pulled off the victory. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
$50,000 of cash and prizes.
Cash and
prizes. You got a Laco bars, which is pretty amazing, $35,000. What else did they say you guys got?
Gift certificate to
Rage Fitness.
Rage Fitness Company.
Awesome.
So why don't you introduce yourself to the world?
I'm Ashley Cornell from Ocean State CrossFit in Cranston, Rhode Island.
And I'm Ray Fleeser, also from Ocean State CrossFit in Cranston, Rhode Island.
Oh, cool.
So you guys have been practicing as a group, I understand, with Coach Josh Plosker in his gym with the Boston Iron facility. How has that gone over the past month or so?
It was good. It was a lot of work. Everyone's traveling from different places. Everyone's doing homework when we're not practicing together. But we're all learning new stuff. We're all getting stronger. It's definitely pushed all of us to the next level.
And it's actually been quite a bit longer than the last month. We've been practicing at that facility, CrossFit Auto Mile, where the Iron practices, for the last month since the Northeast Invitational. But leading up to that tournament, we were practicing for several months out of the coach's gym, CrossFit Bridgewater and CrossFit Dartmouth. So we've been practicing as a team.
Oh, getting ready for the first
for the first tournament.
Yeah.
Yep, because that was our buy-in to this. So we've actually been practicing as a group now for about 3 months.
Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, that's really cool.
No wonder you guys kicked ass.
Yeah, no-brainer there. So what's the furthest that someone has to travel to get to practices?
I think we have a couple from New York.
Yeah,
wow.
I think Elise Fugaski has about a 4-hour commute.
Dang, that's commitment.
Eamon Coyne has about a 3-hour commute, yeah.
Yep. And how often are you guys practicing?
We're practicing once a week together, but like I said, doing homework, lots of Facebook uploads and videos and timing ourselves and stuff like that.
You guys, I'd obviously played off.
Well, the things we did in practice are the things that most people don't want to do. They weren't the most fun things. It might be an hour of talking for 5 minutes of working, but just strategy and execution on everything, which, as we saw out here, was the difference between, winning and losing, because it's only a matter of a few seconds. So it wasn't always a matter of what the athletes could do physically. It was a matter of how they executed, where their transitions were, and obviously, most importantly, how the coaches knew how to use the players they had. And that was really what our practice was.
Yeah, I think it sets you guys apart. We watched all your matches as you were coming through, and you could see you were dominating, and it was a lot of the little things, right? It was how fast you guys transitioned, how fast, and how committed you were to whatever that strategy was, so you had practiced it. You could tell.
Well, it's like everyone out here, everyone's a phenomenal athlete. Everyone can do everything, so it's who's going to do it the quickest, who's going to transition the smoothest, who's going to be the smartest. And
that was one thing he said. It was never a matter of, can you do this? That was kind of expected. It was, can you do this fast? Okay,
right.
How fast? Because for every movement out there was 5 members of the team that could do it.
Right.
It was just a matter of who was the fastest able to do it at that point, or the strongest. So
you've now had 4 matches in 4 days. Tell me that toll on your body right now. You guys exhausted, or you're like fresh? You know what? I could do this again tomorrow.
I'm actually okay. How are you?
Well, one thing is a lot of us are CrossFitters, which has a tremendous amount of volume in a typical CrossFit training regimen, but not nearly the speed. So what we actually did today was a lot less reps than we would normally do, but at a much higher impact. So the little aches and pains that you would otherwise get, they really come up and flare up. So if you've got an issue with your shoulder, it's really going to let you know when you go 100%, things like that. So we are seeing everybody a little bit banged up. The joints are feeling it a little bit. The people's backs who did the deadlifts are feeling it a little bit. And just everybody with those little aches and pains, they got brought to the surface with this kind of speed and intensity.
Yeah, we were at the Texas Bloodhounds last night at their house kind of hanging out. And everyone was on stem machines. They had the buffers all over the bodies. I was like, dang, you guys are feeling it. And they're like, yep, we are.
Same. It's kind of a joke. Like, we're constantly mobilizing. Like, when we're sitting, talking, hanging out, like, someone's rolling, someone's giving someone a massage, someone's on the stim, like, constantly staying on it.
That's what you have to do, though, right?
Yeah. So how much do you guys feel as a family? Because if you guys have been practicing for 3 months, once a week, and do you guys have a house, or do you guys stay in a hotel?
We're staying where we have 2 houses. We have kind of like a guy's house and a girl's house.
And do you think that's helped you guys form closer as a team?
Yeah, definitely. We actually mentioned that it would be a much different experience if we were all in separate hotel rooms. But when we finish the matches, we're all like hanging out by the pool together.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, when you hang out together that long, I kind of feel like there's some communication that you can have with your teammates when on the grid without actually having to say anything or talk about anything, right? And it just kind of happens.
A big thing, I actually have it tattooed from shoulder to shoulder, is a concept that really illustrates this. But you really bond with people you suffer with, people you work with. It would be true in the military, boot camp is true with, people you work with. Anybody that you have to suffer with or put in time and sweat and agony with, you're going to relate, at least on that level. Even if outside of this we lead very different lives, here we're sacrificing, we're all sacrificing our family, our jobs, our time, traveling halfway all the way across the country, to be here with each other. So when we're there on that Saturday practice in the middle of the summer on a beautiful beach day for 5 hours, just grinding a plan into the ground for 100 times over, when you finally win with each other and you get to share in that accomplishment, it doesn't matter what she does or what he does or who, how old you were or what we have in common. Your common ground is that sacrifice and that accomplishment, and that bond is stronger than friend. That bond is a true teammate is really family, and that's really how we've all come together in the last few months.
That's awesome. That's an awesome way to put it, man. That's incredible. So, do you guys have pro aspirations?
It was one of those things. We've been doing CrossFit for so long, and GRID is so new that going into this, it was kind of, all right, these are a bunch of our friends, competing on this Gladiator team. Let's go see what that is about. All right, we made it this far. Let's go see what that is about. So to say yes or no at this point, I definitely couldn't say that for me. I think she's kind of in the same boat. Let's see what happens next.
I almost took a little convincing because, like I said, like Ray said, we're definitely CrossFitters. So it's kind of like a little side thing, like sharpen the axe, just keep trying new things.
And I think most amateur teams are, by the way. They're trying to figure out, well, do I like this? Do I not?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, and we've had a blast. So you never know. I don't know. See what happens.
I probably should ask you about in a week after you feel a little bit better, and be like, oh, I kind of missed that now.
A big thing about CrossFit, the Hopper theory and everything that CrossFit's about is learning new things to make you just a general better athlete. Train for the unexpected, and there's so much interviews with Glossman about that. Skiers doing bicep curls, all of a sudden they're better skiers. Some of the stuff that GRID has made me learn, we've never seen in a CrossFit comp. I'll never in a CrossFit comp have to do back up rises, front up rises, backward rolls. That hasn't been seen in the open or any CrossFit comps I've done so far. But making myself learn those movements, I consider myself a better athlete now. Doing these movements, preparing for a GRID match than I was a few months ago.
Would you consider both of you be utility players? Not really special.
Yes, we are generalists. Yeah, that's what we came in as.
Workhorse status. Just throw us in here, throw us in there, like we got it. Gymnastics, heavy, whatever.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us on the show. Congratulations on the huge victory today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And stay tuned for Quadrant 3. See you guys. Hey guys, welcome to Quadrant 3. So with me is Josh Plosker, head coach of the Boston Iron. And I got to say, we wanted to do this in person out in California. We were with everyone in California, but the week was so hectic and crazy that it was so hard to sit there and talk for 10 or 15 minutes with someone with setup equipment.
It was nuts.
But it was amazing nuts, right? It was really jam-packed. And we had a conversation recently about how we think that the league not only won because of great competition with the pros, but also having the GRID Invitational out there and everyone around the world actually experiencing GRID was pretty impactful on the sport. How do you think that it all went for out there in California for the world's understanding knowledge of the sport?
I think it was an amazing week for the sport of GRID, from across the board, from the pro side down to the amateur side. The athletes had a phenomenal week. The teams had a phenomenal week. The speed of the sport and the excitement of all that took place was phenomenal. I mean, you really, if you were in the building watching those matches, you really could feel how special things are and where they're going. And I'm really excited for the future of this, definitely for the pro side, but also for the amateur side as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. And you could actually see the teams that were successful down there, at least winning the first round. You could see the difference between teams that kind of just put themselves together and were, maybe some really good CrossFitters that said, okay, let's go try this out, and or the teams that really prepared for a long period of time and worked on the transitions. And you could see that some of them were pretty damn fast, almost pro fast.
Yeah, some of the guys out there, let's talk about the group that won it for second, the Bridgewater Gladiators, the group that plays in our league up here in the Northeast. They really took the advice of putting the right players together. They asked a lot of really good questions, and they took the time to get into our practice facility and practice on our GRID. And in this sport, experience wins. It hands down the only way to go. You got to get time with your teammates. You got to get time with your coaches, and you got to get time on the grid in order to see the transitions and how they happen, because they happen fast and sometimes on the fly. And unless you get a chance to see it, and feel it and practice it in real time on a real grid, it's impossible to beat another team who has got that experience.
Right now there's only a couple grids across the country that are available for people to practice on. You guys have one, we have one. Talk about the valuable experience it is and how that actually helps the team to practice on the grid itself.
We've heard from some people who get together in their gyms and try and practice what they need to do for the sport or for a race, but it doesn't do you justice. Like, understanding where you're supposed to fit in each quadrant makes all the difference in the world, and being able to make those transitions and see them in real time and do the full rep schemes and then see how long it takes you to get from quadrant 1 all the way up to quadrant 4 in order to make the transitions. It's a matter of seconds, and literally it could be 3 to 4 seconds based on the transition and how you're supposed to do it and when you're supposed to get somebody out. And so if you don't really get that in real time before you get to your match, you're missing. You're missing 4 to 5 seconds sometimes.
Speaking of being able to have some grid playing time, the NEGL made an exciting announcement just recently. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, we had a very, very exciting and successful invitational where we brought on 6 teams to come on board. It was fantastic, and these guys had such a great experience. We're gonna just kind of keep rolling with that. We're announcing our first combine ever, which is going to take place on November 15th. We're asking all athletes who have any interest in it at all at GRID to come out. They'll get a chance to meet all the amateur coaches. We're actually hoping to bring on 2 more coaches. We have applications out for those guys who want to come in right now. And we get the chance to meet some of our pros that are in and around the area. I'll be there. It'll be more of a teaching / combine for that day. We'll get a chance to race. We'll get a chance to run through some grid score stuff. And it's just going to be an awesome opportunity for people who think this might be the sport for them to come out and show us what they got.
Yeah, and where can people find more information online?
You can go to our website, the NEGL.com website, and take a look at information. A lot more will be posted this week. I mean, we literally came out on Facebook last night with the announcement of November 15th for that combine. So there'll be a lot more information to come.
Nice. Okay, so let's talk about the Boston Iron and this past weekend in Anaheim. So you guys faced the DC Brawlers, now the 2-time championship team, DC Brawlers. So that's a tough one to go against on the first round of the playoffs. But if you really break it down, there were, towards the beginning of the match, there were a couple races that were decided within a second.
Yeah.
And they fell onto the DC Brawlers side. If you guys had won that match, on one of those 2 races, you guys pretty much would have been the team that would be going against Phoenix in the finals. It was that close, which makes for exciting, and it's a win for the sport, right?
Yeah.
It was a win for the sport all weekend. A great weekend of races. But that means that you guys are this close to actually pulling off that victory to get to the championships, and I believe that race format was fit for you guys for that championship. I don't think there's any team across the board that could beat Boston. Tell me, what does that mean for you? Because I know that you told me at the very beginning of the season that, this is a building year. We got, a young team, but a building year and a young team, and you guys are 2 seconds away from what I believe is a championship. What does that mean to you guys?
Our guys came away from that match just extremely hungry. They're so excited to get back to work. I mean, we left them all 2 days ago, and I'm getting texts and messages just about how much they miss the team, and we wish we were still together. And that's hard. That's not easy, because we had such a great experience, and that's not just us. That's all the teams. That's how exciting things have been for these guys. But it's building momentum for us for next year. I know that I'll have our guys ready to start practicing before. These guys will be back in November, ready to get going again with each other. So it hunger to go out and win. We knew how close we were. We knew we had a shot there. We made a mistake in race 1 where Tola got no rep because his feet were I guess in the start zone a bit. I think his heels ended up in the start zone as he was handling the power cleans.
Yeah.
And you can't make a mistake like that, and hope to beat the champions. It's got to be mistake free, And we were really, really close. I mean, we came back from I think a 5-rep lead to DC, and we literally got there first and to that 4th quadrant, or tied them on the 4th quadrant, and it just came down to literally a second, if that. So we're pretty excited about what's about to take place going forward for the Boston Iron.
Did I hear you guys say that you're going to be? Hear you just say that you're going to be back in November with the team?
Yeah, we'll have our guys back in November. For the most part, for guys, definitely our local guys. But I mean, they pulled me aside literally the day before we left. It was Monday, and they said, "Hey, we need to get a training camp going as soon as possible to keep things rolling along with the team."
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's some really cool news to hear. I know that's going to help out the team next year by leaps and bounds.
Huge. Like I said earlier, experience wins in GRID.
Absolutely, 100%. Plus pre-planning and what the coaches putting together the dance.
Yeah, and we're looking forward. I mean, my guess is as we all get together, as on the league side, from the team operator side and the competition side, my guess is a few adjustments will be made to next year, to rosters and to the sport itself, the competition. I'm really looking forward to getting back involved on building the sport now again. And so that will also affect what we do from a roster side. We know we're missing a couple of things that I would like to add to the team. I'd like to add some depth there to really back up and help support Ben and Zardis on a few things. I think we're missing one more of those kind of guys, and so we're also out there looking around for some great athletes, and so I hope they're watching this stuff and knowing that coaches are looking. I mean, I made almost. Not every amateur match just because we were preparing, but I made a lot of the amateur matches and had my eye out on a lot of guys over there. I'm hoping that they are making it to the combine.
Right, and for you fans out there that of GRID who aspire to be pro athletes, the best way to get yourself noticed is to join these amateur GRID leagues across the country and experience GRID for yourself and really understand the sport. You will get noticed as long as you get those amateur leagues and you stand out.
100%. We saw it in our invitational. We held it. I mean, there was at least, I would say, 5 to 10 people that I thought would go to a pro day, be invited to a pro day, and turn some heads. And that's pretty exciting because it's going to be very difficult to make a team, going forward.
Sure.
There's not going to be a lot of spots, for athletes, and the best of the best are going to need to rise, and the only way for them to rise again is getting on those grids and playing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me on Quadrant 3 for the show. There's a lot of bright things coming in the future. Good luck on the NEGL Combine on November 15th, and I'm really excited about the future for Boston.
Awesome.
So thanks a lot, man.
Guys. Appreciate it.
All right, bye. Hey guys, welcome to Quadrant 4. We just got back from Anaheim, California to Virginia, and of course we hit the ground running. With us we have Nicole Caperso and Doc. He is from ESPNW Online, and they're going to talk about grid shape. What's grid shape? Stay tuned. Till next time, clean up your jerks and snatches, drink your beer in batches, and always dominate your grid matches. See you guys.